Welcome back inside the Broncos studio for Broncos HQ. Fresh from the bye week, I'm your host and team reporter Elisa Hernandez, next to the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater. It's week 13, and the Broncos look to build upon their 9-2 record as they head into the final stretch of the season. This week, the Broncos travel to Washington to face the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. The primetime lights will be on, with both of these teams coming off a bye week. Steve, sometimes a reset is needed, and the Broncos find themselves in a good position as they get ready to take on the Commanders. How do you see this team picking up from where they left off?
Well, I think they'll do just that. They will pick up right where they left off. They left off with a strong win against the Kansas City Chiefs. In a cinematic format. It was just a great game by them, offensively, defensively, special teams-wise, and I'm hoping that they're going to pick right up where they left off. And with our coaches, with the leaders on this team, I don't think they're going to have a drop-off. Some teams take a while to get back into the groove. I think they'll get right back into the groove here this week.
You look at Sunday Night Football, and I always enjoy Sunday night because all eyes are on you. You're the only game on. It's the last game on Sunday. And the primetime lights just seem to bring out the best in players, especially Bo Nix, who both of the two games that have been on primetime, he has come out victorious as the Broncos extended their win streak this season. The biggest game coming against the Bengals. I mean, it was one of those games that he just tends to rise when it comes to those primetime games.
Yeah, and it's amazing because some players are just like that. You know, the big game comes, they show up and they play extremely well, and I'm happy for him that he's been able to do that.
Yeah.
And the defense, it seems like every week they show up. I don't care whether it's a big game, not a big game. They're showing up every single week, and they got to continue to do that as well. But I expect our players to make plays. I expect Cortland to make plays. I expect with J.K. Dobbins being down, R.J. Harvey, Jaleel McLaughlin, also Tyler Bidet step up, fill in, and excel.
This is a really big game for the Broncos because they stand at 9-2. They're looking to extend their win streak, but also they need to keep pace because this AFC race in general is very, very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at New England at 10-2, Indianapolis at 8-3, and then Buffalo, Jacksonville, and the Chargers all at 7-4, they're just a couple of games behind us, and we cannot rest on our laurels. We can't sit here and say, "Oh man, we got it won." No, because these guys can win these games out, and we'll end up being in a bad position. So, hey, don't even worry about the game. Don't worry about what the record is. Just go out there and continue to execute every single play, and you'll like where you end up at the end of the year.
That's true, and I know a lot of the guys have talked about that race to 10. Like, getting that 10th win is huge, especially when they're in the AFC. As you mentioned, so many teams are just a few games behind them. And when you look at the Patriots, who have Monday Night Football coming up for them, and I believe they play the Bills after, the Colts play the Texans, they have a tough stretch going down. The Broncos do as well. They're going to face all three of their division rivals over the course of the next few games as they close out the season. So this game is one you just have to get, right? Under the primetime lights, national stage, show what you can do, but also show that you can keep pace, not only in the division, but overall. One thing about this Broncos team, not only do they get after the quarterback, but they protect the quarterback. The Broncos offensive line has been impressive this season. Bo Nix is one of the least sacked quarterbacks this year and has 18 touchdown passes this season. After practice, I caught up with right guard Quinn Meinerz as the team prepares for the Commanders. Fresh off the bye week, how did you use that time, and how much are you looking forward to playing on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, bye week was great. Decided to stay in town, just kind of stayed at home. Did some obvious bird watching, if you tune into the Instagram story. Kind of getting some good pictures now here and there. We're actually working on my wife and I building a library in our basement. She likes collecting books and reading books, so it was fun putting that stuff together. As far as the game, I felt really excited about today's practice, getting back into it, the motivation back, having some time away from the game, body physically feeling better. Excited to get back into the groove of it and finish this next half of the season.
This offensive line has done a great job protecting the quarterback. How do you guys look to sustain that against a very physical Washington Commanders team?
Yeah, of course. That's every defensive front brings different challenges. Our coaches come up with a great plan, and it's on us to execute it. And our communication is extremely important. The on the road element definitely makes it a little bit different, especially with me having to look back and see when we're ready to snap the ball. It changes quite a bit on the road, but like I said, we always come up with a good plan. I think we have really good communication, and having so many snaps together, that helps too.
What's the key to securing this 10th win under the primetime lights?
We have to be aware of the potential weather. I think here that it's going to be a little bit colder, potentially some rain. So I think handling those elements, the best way to win on the road is to establish a run game. So that's something that we'll be looking forward to do, especially in the elements.
Earlier this week, this team extended Will Lutz, Malcolm Roach, Luke Wattenberg. What does it mean to have those guys part of the future?
It's great. They're great team guys. They've been part of building this culture here. Bringing in Roach, bringing in Will. They've been part of the culture change here. I've been here the whole time for Luke's career. He's gone through, in the early part, with changing staffs, a lot of moving parts and stuff as a young player is hard. So for him to really kind of settle into this program and develop and work really hard and to have that rewarded is extremely encouraging. We're wanting to keep as many people in-house, you can kind of tell, because the type of players that we have here are hard to find, and that's why we want to keep them here.
The Broncos will face their final NFC East opponent of the regular season on Sunday. Steve, what are your keys to the game so the Broncos can get their 10th win?
Well, first off, I would say we need to start fast offensively. We got off to a pretty good start with the Chiefs. We got some points on the board there, but as overall throughout the season, we haven't done that. But we really got to get a fast start, get that run game going, put some points on the board. Secondly, we got to minimize the penalties. We had 10 penalties, 147 yards versus the Chiefs. And then the last thing is bringing some pressure on Marcus Mariota, keeping him contained in the pocket. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks that's going to try to run, and we got to stop him from running. But I think he could hurt us more with his running than he can with his passing.
Well, those are your keys to the game. And now it's time for our Hall of Famer to pick the dark horse of the game for Sunday Night Football. Steve, who's it going to be?
I'm going to go with Courtland Sutton. The Washington Commanders have given up over 250 yards in 7 of their 11 games this year. And I just think Bo Nix, he's going to go right back to his bread and butter, Courtland Sutton, after the bye. Get him in a groove. It'll get Bo Nix in a groove as well. And this offense is going to move the ball down the field and put some points on the board early.
It's always a special sight to see when you see 10 connect with number 14. Well, that will do it for this week's edition of Broncos HQ. I'm your host and team reporter, Elisa Hernandez, next to the Hall of Famer, Steve Atwater. A reminder, the Broncos will be on primetime, traveling to Washington to face the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Kickoff is set for 6:20 p.m. Mountain Time. Don't forget to comment below your thoughts on the game, like, and subscribe.